Alright, guys, so I wanted to talk about today about spiritual awakening and what you'll find out about it, what you'll go through, little things here and there. I'm not going to cover it all within this time, but I'll definitely be posting more stuff. So I recently went through a spiritual awakening. I didn't know it was spiritual at first. It started off with an awakening. And then discovering, into the process, you find out, well, an awakening does have to do with spiritualness. And so, with that being said, spiritual awakenings are crazy. There's a lot of stuff involved in it. Basically having to find yourself, having to understand yourself. Of course, it falls in other categories as having to deal with narcissism, having to deal with empaths, learning different types of things going on with your mind, so many things, different dimensions, quantum jumping, all sorts of different things. So I've exceeded to a certain point in the awakening where I started having visions. And they're not just little visions. They're not just clips. They're not just pictures. They are full blown out, watching a TV visions. Better with my eyes closed, but I can also do it with it open on a wall or a black TV screen or a black surface. You can see them clearer, a little better when it's on a darker color surface. So my experience with these visions are off the wall. They are crazy. They're unbelievable. You would never believe it, as I didn't believe it myself. And then I started getting into the part where I start helping people. And helping people is a whole nother thing. I ended up awakening my wife. She took it rough at first, but now she's smooth sailing and kind of understanding what all is going on. So, these beatific visions, I've been helping people through visions, and all I've been doing is kind of like closing my eyes, and I guess their voice or their energy, their presence, basically registers in my mind, and I can start picking up their thoughts. Not just one set of thoughts. I can pick up their thoughts within whatever is consuming them. Basically, their emotions. I can pick up what they're releasing. I can pick up their anger. And what I mean pick up, I guess what I'm really trying to say is I can see it. And it's crazy. Most of the visions are like cartoon anime effects. And they replay in a weird certain picture of some sort. Some type of, like, what I mean by picture, like a front yard that I've never seen before, but it's the same front yard for everybody. The weird thing is putting together the role playing of the pictures kind of tells me the mood they're in, depending on the color I'm seeing it as. And so, for example, red means they're like extremely angry. Blue is like a sense of something good, something a little bit exciting. Purple is a sense of an emotion that needs to be released. Orange is an imagination. It's almost like a fantasy imagination. Black, well, of course, black is black. Black is the shadows. But I see them as people, like figments, which is weird. Like I said, all this is going to sound weird, but I'm letting other people know out there just in case they're having the same thing going on with them. It's called beatific visions. So, rather interesting things. I've been helping people that are going through Dark Night of the Soul, damaging relationships, that had gotten mind screwed by narcissism, trauma, childhood issues, anything that has affected their mentality. I'm able to help them get through it through the visions. And so the most amazing things I see are church people that aren't so churchy. They claim to be, but they're not. They wear masks. And that's another thing. I can see people's masks and egos and personalities and the people they're thinking of. And this is loud and clear. Going through grocery stores, everybody has but a few things on their mind, and that's basically their fantasy, their imagination of who they're dealing with in a secretive basis, and then their actual true thoughts of what they would, I guess do to people, basically. It's crazy. I haven't really seen no positive vibes out there. I guess, well, yeah, of course, because nobody thinks you can literally see what's in their mind. So everybody's off in their own la-la land. So what I'm seeing big time out there are the kids. The kids are getting affected by a lot of the adults' behavior. Behaviorism is a big thing in America. I don't think a lot of people understand this. It's affecting the kids. It's affecting the future. It's basically affecting our beginning, as we're supposed to be the legacy. The beginning is starting off with a big bang. And what I mean a big bang is mass destruction. I mean, kids are growing up to barely make it to be 25, only to find themselves doing something mass destructive within their society, and they don't even know why they're doing it. They call it blackouts, they call it flip outs, they call it psychopathism, all that weird stuff. I know it's all got a name to it, but when I see inside people's heads, it's all the same thing. People need to learn how to forgive. People need to learn how to find themselves. People need to learn how to talk with themselves about their feelings, analyze their issues, understand them. Brick walls, the biggest thing in America. Everybody has a wall covering their feelings. The funny thing is when people start talking about their feelings, my vision dives in their chest. That's the first problem, is everybody is thinking that their feelings are in their heart. The feelings are not in the heart. It is in your mind. It's in your head. I take that back. It's in your brain. Your mind is something totally different from your brain, I'm starting to understand. But the point is everybody looks at their heart like it's broken. And there ain't no heart to break unless it's your head doing it. So, what I mean by that is every thought process, every thinking process, everything that you can even think of, it all starts in your head, right? And then from there, if you spook yourself out, you fear your thoughts, you have bad thoughts, worried thoughts, anxious thoughts, any kind of thoughts, it's going to affect that part of the body that it sends off the signal to. And so that's just one thing I want to make loud and clear, is everybody thinks that their feelings in their heart, thinking that they're heartbroken. And that's what a lot of people have been teaching their kids throughout hundreds of years. Oh, you're heartbroken? Oh, let's talk about it. Well, you're supposed to talk about it to clear your head. Clearing your head involves you being honest. Being honest does a lot to yourself. You're able to recognize yourself. You're able to recognize your feelings. You're able to actually meet your feelings. You can introduce yourself to your feelings. Has anybody ever done that? I'm not sure, but I know I'm one that has. A lot of people don't like to discuss anything about their feelings. Why? Well, because then it sets off their character. It tells their identity that they've created for themselves, oh, you're not real. And then they'd have to go and look for another identity, I guess, and be themselves. But I'll tell y'all right now, it is good to be yourself. It's great not to have any type of other thought in your head other than, well, I gotta survive. and you're trying to figure out a way to do it being yourself, not trying to be anybody else or someone else's dream. And so everybody's always, saying one thing but doing another. And duality is starting to become a tripality. What I mean by the duality is you're within and you're without. What you feel inside should be what you're putting in the outside of your body, meaning what's coming out of your mouth or your actions. So your thoughts should be the same as what you're putting out. If you're lying in your head, you might as well put it out, because it's going to affect you your whole life. It doesn't matter. That's the way the brain works. And then you get away with a lie. Well, you're going to continue to keep lying until, well, of course, you get caught. These are the things that manipulate the mind, that creates a mischievous mind. The mind ends up, or the head ends up putting themselves in a situation that they never even thought they would be in. The biggest thing that a lot of people don't even understand is the meaning of love. Love is a big meaning, and there's a duality to it. And there's also step 1, step 2 is what I call it. You gotta show love the right way from your within. Treat people the way you want to be treated. That's an old saying, but does anybody really follow that? It has, of course, lost its definition a long time ago. So as we're reprimanding people, demanding people, punishing people, whether it's your kids or your family members or anybody that you have authority over, your without isn't really saying the same thing as your within, because as you're not giving anybody the chance of day, your without that's coming out of your mouth basically is telling them difference. So what I mean by that is you're disciplining someone, but you're telling them, well, I love you. I love you. This is love. You love me? Let me hear you say you love me. I love you. That kind of crap. But then the only behavior that they know the whole time they known you is, well, negative behavior, a meanful behavior. So you right there as an individual are teaching somebody or a child or whoever that that's what love is. Love is a negative behavior. And so they go out about life treating other people the same way, only to find themselves in a mix-up getting treated that exact same way. And then from there, the domino effect just keeps on going and keeps on going. Then you become an adult and you end up dealing with someone with just the same qualities as you, but better at your game than you are. And that's creating a bunch of dramatic shit into a relationship. And so from there, you got that meaning twin flames, right? And twin flames, well, that's a hard thing to deal with right there. A lot of people think it's oh, you're my twin flame, that's awesome. Nope, that is not an awesome thing. That's a lot of work you got to do. A lot of fixing. And fixing, of course, comes with correcting. Correcting a human body, well, that's correcting the head. Correcting the brain, oh, that takes a lot of work, because then you have to go within yourself no matter what. So you can fix yourself, but you have to be honest with yourself. You have to put yourself out there. You have to throw yourself under a bus, I say so, That's my saying. You got to kill yourself in order to become alive. And being alive is an amazing thing. People don't understand that. You end up getting blessed with all these gifts, and what I mean by gifts is nothing with objects. Basically, it's all within your mind. Psychic abilities, beatific visions, like I'm saying, and clairvoyancy. Just everybody has their own little, each different gift that they carry. They're just not able to see it because, well, it's covered by blockage. And blockage is basically all the negative thoughts in the mind that you weren't able to talk about, your feelings. And because of that, it keeps on recreating a different identity, because you end up putting it out there that, hey, you're this person when you're really not. So you're basically creating an identity for yourself, another character.